something terribly off all the time. There's several states that are just, it's wonderful in those states where it's working. I think Vermont, some of those people really, really think it's very good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in terms of covering people who are able-bodied and stuff, it's interesting. I used to work in the welfare system up to Casper, and Vern Rissler, from Rissler McMurray, the construction company, we used to go through everybody who was getting public assistance. And so he told me, he says one day, he says, you send about, whoever you think is able-bodied out to my shop, and I'll put them to work. Well, anyway, about 2 weeks later, he calls me back and he says, don't send me any more of those people, because I couldn't trust them to drive one of my big tractors or whatever, construction company. So just because someone's able-bodied, it doesn't mean that they're very competent or
Right.
able to work. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying? It's,
Yep.
a lot of these jobs require technology information.
But there are jobs that you don't have to be totally mentally on the ball and to be able to work as well. There are a lot of companies that are hiring special needs people. I see them around all the time. So I think the whole idea is if people are willing to work or willing to do something, and of course I'm not refuting what you're saying, and yeah, I wouldn't want someone that I didn't feel was maybe able-bodied but not able mentally to operate some heavy equipment and things, but there are other jobs out there that they could certainly apply
because
for.
I used to we had people coming in who couldn't even sign their name on an application for assistance.
Mm-hmm.
The school system obviously fails a lot of people here because people drop out. They don't understand the importance of an education. But
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to know that, anybody who's in any business can twist figures. Like the Liberty Group, obviously they see the world from their perspective, and there are other groups who want to help the poor people and
Sure.
can't find jobs or who are not, very well versed.
Sure.
And that's just my comment. It's just, there's two sides of looking at anything, and it seems like they always take the really conservative, punitive approach, and not the gentle approach to try to help people. That's all I've got to say.
Well, I appreciate your call, and that's why we will have people on to kind of get both sides of what's happening, and they come on every other Friday. And there are a lot of things that I enjoy that I agree with. There are certain things that I disagree with, but it makes for good conversation. Speaking of people that held a job down and couldn't even write their own name, I think of one Robert Sloan. During the Great Depression, he was my great-grandfather on my dad's side. It was actually my grandmother's dad. He could not read or write. He was a functional illiterate, but yet he held a job down and took care of his family during the Great Depression. And so he had the work ethic again. And I understand, too, there are a lot of people that way, raised on a farm, maybe didn't have access to the education that they did later on. But I just thought that was interesting how you come across people that can't read or write. We're appalled by that in 2015. We just can't believe it. But that's been going on for a long, long time. And people have been able to be successful and hold down jobs. Of course, you should read and you should know how to write your name. And I do agree with the call on that. At this time, though, we want to do something a little bit special this morning for Memorial Day. And we are inviting your phone calls for any stories that you have. As many of you know, Monday is going to mark our nation will remember the thousands of brave men and women who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom. And here's a salute to 5 of the greatest men who have ever served our country, all of whom hailed from the great state of Wyoming. Each of these men were awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor, which, according to the Congressional Medal of Honor Society, is the highest award for valor in action against an enemy force which can be bestowed upon an individual serving in the armed services of America. This morning we remember Major William Edward Adams of Casper, Wyoming, He served as an Army helicopter pilot in the Vietnam War, and on May 25th, 1971, Major Adams volunteered to help rescue 3 seriously injured soldiers from a base that was under attack. In the face of heavy enemy fire, Adams landed the aircraft and gathered the wounded. While departing the base, the helicopter was struck by an anti-aircraft fire and eventually fell and took his life. Also, we want to remember Sergeant Major Edward Lee Baker, Jr. of Laramie County, Wyoming. Sergeant Major Baker served in the Army's 10th Cavalry during the Spanish-American War on July 1st, 1898. He abandoned cover under heavy enemy fire to rescue a fellow soldier who was drowning near Santiago, Cuba. And we also want to recognize First Lieutenant Vernon J. Baker of Cheyenne, Wyoming. Army Lieutenant Baker served in the weapons platoon of Company C in World War II. And on April 5th, 1945, just before that war had actually had ended, we find that on that date, this man, First Lieutenant Vernon J. Baker of Cheyenne, he led an attack against the entrenched German machine gun battalion in the mountains near Viareggio, Italy. After destroying 3 enemy emplacements, he exposed himself to enemy fire while covering the evacuation of wounded soldiers. The next day, Baker spearheaded an advance through a mine field and helped secure another objective under heavy fire. And so we salute First Lieutenant Vernon J. Baker. We'll have some more later on in the program. Again, if you have a story or you have something you'd like to share this morning as we remember the fallen on this Memorial Day, you can do that at 632-6500 or 632-3323 or anything else you'd like to talk about today. My name is Gary Freeman. 8:49 is the time. Good morning.
Listen, as a hiring manager, I've got to tell you, the best job candidate isn't always the typical candidate. Sometimes they're a grad of life.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience, an ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Sometimes the best candidates aren't the ones you're used to.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Hey, good morning. 8:50 is the time. Well, Doug, we've been, as for Memorial Day, we've been talking about some of the people that had lost their lives and on this Memorial Day. And I know a lot of people thank the military, which we do, but Memorial Day is really for those fallen sons and daughters that have given their life for our freedom.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know what I can add to that. Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Well, didn't you have an article out there as well, or posted an article? We were just reading some names right now of people that were had actually lost their life in combat. Did you know of anybody, a great-grandfather or a friend or anybody like that had lost their life to combat?
I had some distant relatives who obviously I didn't know because I'm not this old, but who lost their lives in World War II. I also had a second uncle who was kept a prisoner of war with the Japanese. He was on the Corregidor March. Nobody in my direct immediate family. Of course, I was a little young for Vietnam and a little old for the Gulf War. So.
Yeah, so you were somewhere in between. Well, what's really neat is this Technical Sergeant Charles F. Carey Jr. He was an Army sergeant. He served in the 100th Infantry Division and the 397th Infantry. And on January 8th, 1945, his battalion was attacked by 12 German tanks in Rimling, France. Unarmed, he managed to rescue 2 squads and evacuated the wounded. He then led a charge against the house fortified by enemy snipers, entered alone, and later emerged with 16 prisoners. The next day, he was struck by a sniper while attempting to rescue 4 of his fellow soldiers, and he was right here from Cheyenne, Wyoming.
And that would have been part of the Battle of the Bulge, unless I missed my guess.
Yeah, I'll tell you what is incredible. Also, we talked about this other First Lieutenant Vernon J. Baker from Cheyenne. He lost his life on April 5th, 1945. These were just in the waning hours of the war ending. And here these great heroes had fought in, who knows, 2 or 3 years, and here the war was almost over, and they lost their lives doing brave things. So kind of sad, but at any rate, it's neat to see that we did have some heroes coming out of Cheyenne and really out of Wyoming altogether. So
right,
as Memorial
and
Day
and I think we all
approaches.
know people who served in the Gulf War and the Iraq War. I've known of people who died there. They weren't personal friends or relatives of mine, but I certainly knew who they were.
Sure.
And we just respect deeply anybody who pays the ultimate sacrifice.
That's right. All right, Doug, we'll talk to you later on. Your time right now is 8:52. If you would like to share a Memorial Day story, you certainly may do that on KGAB Mornings. Good morning.
The Sweet Bistro has a new VIP bar that you can book for your own private parties downstairs, where you can have your own exclusive fun. Find out details online at thesweetbistro.com or call and book today. Enjoy the friendly, fun service at the Sweet Bistro.
Good lighting is important to me because I'm an avid reader. These CFLs are easier on the eyes. It's more like natural light. And as an added bonus, it saves me money on my energy bill.
That's great, Maria. Did you know that you can also save money when you buy CFLs? Look for the Cheyenne Light logo when you shop at local retailers, and we'll help cover those costs. Just when you thought life couldn't get any brighter. Cheyenne Light, Fuel and Power. Life sponsored by Energy.
Are you feeling run down? Do you have aches, pains, or illnesses that just keep hanging around? Chronic medical conditions require an internal medicine healthcare provider. A team of experts can help you to manage a number of conditions, including asthma, heart disease, respiratory illness, back pain, and many more. Call today to see what Cheyenne Regional Internal Medicine can do for you. 307-996-1560. 307-996-1560.
Medical Professionals. Wyoming Work Warehouse invites you to check out their vast selection of scrubs. Carrying 8 major labels, including Koi, Wonder, Dickies, and Carhartt in over 50 styles with sizes ranging from extra small to 5X, petite to talls, all in one location. Experience the hub for scrubs. Wyoming Work Warehouse, your medical workwear supplier right here at home. 3502 Del Range, next to King Soopers, the hub for scrubs.
Hey, Beth, I got a home equity loan on the house from Western Vista.
Oh, what are you going to use the money for?
No, I got my home equity loan on the house.
Are you using the money for a deck or landscaping or something?
No, I got my home equity loan from Western Vista with no origination costs and no fees.
Oh, I see.
Take advantage of Western Vista's home equity loan today. No fees and no origination cost. Visit Western Vista Credit Union at 1215 Story Boulevard or wvista.com.
Certain credit and restrictions may apply. Visit wvista.com for details.
Coming this summer, NASCAR on NBC Sports returns.
That's very good, boys.
43 cars, 39 races, 2 networks, 1 home, NBC Sports. Plus, the chase for the Sprint Cup begins and ends exclusively on NBC Sports. NASCAR on NBC and NBCSN starts July 4th weekend.
The power of information. Cheyenne's #1 News Talk Radio, AM 650, KGAB, and KGAB.com.
And good morning. The webcam is on out at KGAB. If you want to check it out there on YouTube, go to KGAB AM 650. Still pretty rainy here in the capital city, 42, light rain and fog. And man, I'll tell you what, I'm just one of those moods today where I just want to go home, put on my comfies, sit next to my wife, chill out with the dogs, and do absolutely nothing. You're probably of that same persuasion to some degree as well. Coming up at 9:10 or 9:05 this morning, we'll be talking with Rabbi Roger Rousseau about some of the things that are happening not only over in the Middle East and things that are going on as well as here in this country. Seems like Israel is more and more favorable now that America is pulling out some of their funds and not having that obligation. And some of the heartbeat of what's going on there in comparison to some of the heartbeat of our nation that's going on here. We'll be talking with him as well. Also, we'll have some more time for you to call and weigh in on this Memorial Day program. We're going to be highlighting some more heroes that actually served in the military. And tomorrow, Monday, if you're looking for something to do, you can head on out to KGAB.com. We've got the top 5 at 7:45. Of course, there's going to be the Memorial Day observation in Bethel Cemetery. Also, St. Mark's Episcopal Church will be having a reading of those who served in Iraqi freedom. And just lots going on. And make sure if you're going to display the American flag, do it properly. If you want to know how to do that, go out to the top 5 at 7:45 this morning. There's a hot link there. It'll take you right to the page on how to properly display an American flag. And I'll tell you one way that you don't properly display it, and that's on the ground while you're standing on it. 8:57 is the time. Sean Hannity, morning update straight ahead. Good morning.
KGAB Orchard Valley, Cheyenne.
KGAB Mornings with Gary and Doug. We've got everything you need to start your morning on AM 650 KGAB.
AM 650 KGAB. Up to the minute news.
From the KGAB News Center, I'm Doug Randall. Officers in Northeast Wyoming shot and killed a 39-year-old woman armed with a knife after other means to stop her, including a stun gun, failed. Tracy Perkins has more.
The shooting occurred on a rural road just east of Gillette after the Campbell County Sheriff's Office received a call at about 11:30 p.m. on Wednesday of someone trespassing at a coal mine. Frosty Williams of the State Division of Criminal Investigation says that a vehicle led responding deputies on a chase that ended when spike strips deflated its tires. Williams says a woman exited the vehicle and then threatened officers with a knife. Campbell County Attorney Ron Worthwine says she ignored verbal commands to drop the knife and was not even subdued by a stun gun. Reporting from Laramie, I'm Tracy Perkins.
Proposed new reading materials for students in Cody schools have drawn criticism from some who say they promote a liberal agenda. They contend the agenda includes inaccurate discussion of global warming and a disproportionate focus on the stories of minorities. However, others say the critics are oversensitive to the material, but the reading curriculum is needed to help students succeed in today's world. The Park County School District Number 6 Board has been looking at the proposed curriculum for 2 years. It held a public meeting on Tuesday night. The proposed reading materials are aligned to the Common Core state standards. The board will form a separate committee to address complaints. More news on demand at KGAB.com.
AM 650 KGAB Sports.
In sports, 15 Wyoming track and field student athletes have qualified for the NCAA West Preliminary May 28th through the 30th in Austin, Texas. The 10 Cowboy and 5 Cowgirl athletes tied last year for the program's highest total ever to qualify for the event. To reach the NCAA's preliminary meet, an athlete must be ranked in the region's top 48 of his or her event. The top 12 finishers in each event at the 2 regional meets will receive an invitation to the NCAA Championship next month in Eugene, Oregon. Major League Baseball, Michael McHenry hit a 2-run homer, and Jorge De La Rosa became Colorado's career strikeouts leader as the Rockies beat the Phillies 7-3 Thursday. Troy Tulowitzki added a 2-run single for the Rockies. Brandon Barnes, just recently called up from AAA Albuquerque, had 4 hits. And in NBA playoff action, Stephen Curry allowed the Golden State Warriors to overcome an outstanding performance by James Harden and take a 2-0 lead in the NBA's Western Conference Series, Warriors beating Houston in a squeaker 99-98. That's sports. I'm Doug Randall.
Rain will overspread Cheyenne again today. After a couple of days where we haven't gotten too much rain, that's going to change. Rain is going to be widespread today, along with a few thunderstorms. They'll continue to be foggy, drizzly, and chilly. We're going to see a very good chance for more showers and thunderstorms, some of which could produce significant rain tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night through Sunday. We might be able to salvage a decent day for Memorial Day Monday. That's one day that might end up being not too bad, but for the next 3 days, we'll be cloudy, cool, and wet.
Do you know a teen who lacks direction, discipline, and the education necessary to succeed? The Wyoming Cowboy Challenge Academy offers 16 to 18-year-olds an opportunity to change their surroundings, gain confidence, while also learning valuable life coping skills and personal leadership. Cadets at the Academy continue their academic studies and have the opportunity to graduate high school or earn an equivalency certificate. To learn more, visit wymcowboychallenge.org or call 307-836-7500. The Wyoming Cowboy Challenge Academy, the courage to change.
And that's the ball game. The Warriors pick up a good win today, but the game isn't over. Let's see if they all make it home safe. The first player slides into the passenger seat and reaches for the seatbelt. 2 other players are roughhousing in the back seat. Mom is already buckled in the driver's seat. She shoots them a stern look in the rearview mirror, and that's all it took. Both players buckled themselves in. Remember, the game is not over until everyone makes it home safe. Buckle every passenger, every trip, every time. Paid for with federal highway safety funds.
Rain will overspread the capital city today. Areas of fog and drizzle this morning. Otherwise cloudy with periods of light rain. Brisk and gusty southeast winds. Highs low to mid-50s. There could be a thunderstorm as well. A few lingering showers. Areas of fog. Low to mid-40s tonight. Saturday, highs near 60 with showers and thunderstorms by afternoon. Showers and thunderstorms likely. Saturday night through Sunday, continued cool. Meteorologist Don Day with more weather on demand at KGAB.com.
Hey, you. Close your eyes and visualize what you hear.
it can be yours. Twice every weekday in the month of May, KGAB wants to put $1,000 in your hand when we tell you be the 25th nationwide caller to 877-854-WINS. That's 877-854-9467 to win cash. Plus, a chance at $10,000 now at KGAB.com. Putting $1,000 in your hand from Cheyenne Auto and Metal, used auto parts and metal recycling.
As you celebrate Memorial Day this year, please take time to honor those who paid the ultimate price for our freedom. For many, coming home was more of a challenge than what they expected. If you are a veteran in crisis or know someone who is, please call the Veterans Crisis Line at 1-800-237-8255 and press 1 for free confidential support. Cheyenne VA Medical Center and Clinics, small-town healthcare with nationwide resources. The price of freedom can be seen here.
A lifetime of love.
We've all lost a loved one, but they live within us when we keep their love alive.
Children will barely remember their grandpa,
but they'll feel his love forever.
Their love lives on when we pass it on. It would be our privilege to serve you.
A lifetime of love.
Memories of a lifetime of love. Schrader Funeral Home.
And now, back to KGAB Mornings with Gary Freeman on AM 650 KGAB.
And good morning. Glad to have you here on Cheyenne's #1 news talk radio station, AM 650 KGAB and KGAB.com. The webcam is on, so if you're sitting at home, you're home with the kids, and you want to do something, I guess, fun, you could turn on the webcam. Just simply go out to YouTube. Also on that page, there's a lot of videos that you can take a look at. I know a lot of you have asked for, hey, are there archives of the show on KGAB.com? Well, if you go out to YouTube and put on and look up KGAB AM 650, you can certainly look at those interviews with some of the people like Jillian Balo and Dr. Mark LaHiff and different ones like that. You can find that there. Still have rain here in the capital city, looking a whole lot like Washington and Seattle. 42 is your current temperature, and since it was a dreary Washington State, Seattle-looking day, I thought we would have somebody who's from there. He is Rabbi Roger Rousseau. Roger, welcome to the program.
Yeah, you said Roger Rousseau, but you were thinking Roger Rabbit, weren't you?
Yeah,
it went through your mind.
Rabbi Roger. And then I always get Jacques Cousteau and Roger Rousseau mixed up. But at any rate, so yesterday, of course, we had a lady on and named Kelly Damerow. And she's with the folks that basically is a secular humanistic group that was pretty much saying freedom lies when we don't have religion, we don't have any of these kind of things. We're not telling people not to go to church, but we just don't want to hear about it. And so I thought I would have you in today to kind of give perspective on what you view as a Jewish rabbi and what's happening across our country.
Well, one of the things that I've heard some people say before, and it's a weird assumption, is that we have a freedom from religion, and that's not reality. We have a freedom of religion, and within that, we can, of course, communicate our beliefs and so on. Basically, any society is based on core beliefs, common customs and laws that reflect that, and even our Constitution says that our rights are from God. So I find it dangerous that we want to remove God, because then once we totally remove God from society, where do we go about how do we get our rights? How do we address that? And that's a big concern as a sociologist that I see, is trying to erase God from any conversation or public place.
Yeah, a lot of people think freedoms have no boundaries, but really with freedom comes a lot of responsibility. And we're finding that more and more people that are not taking that responsibility, and they're not reading up on these candidates. And this has been going on for the past 40, 50 years or more. We're finding out that a lot of our liberties are slipping by the wayside. So there is something to what you just said.
Well, and being Memorial Day, of course, we're honoring a lot of military people that tragically have not returned home. And we're one of the only militaries in the world that takes an oath to an idea on a piece of paper. Most in the world, of course, to a king or to some individual or whatever else. And so at our very core of what our society is, we're following this piece of paper, this document. And in that document, the Constitution and so on, God is very much addressed, very much a part of that in our liberties and so on. So I think it's kind of odd that we have people out of D.C. who have opposing views of that, where the Constitution is obviously very much the basis of of everything in DC, well, allegedly. So,
and we're always talking about history repeating itself. There were a lot of great world powers: Rome, Medo-Persia, some others, Assyria, Babylon. And when immorality began to rule as king, and maybe God was nowhere to be found, or some kind of religious or moral conviction, we saw those countries go down, and people continue to scratch their heads as to why America's in trouble. Would you say it relates back to the fact that, as we read earlier in the week, church attendance is way down? You have this generation of nuns, not N-U-N-S, but N-O-N-S, meaning, hey, we don't have any religion. We don't really believe in God. We really don't care. We just want to do what we're going to do.
Well, and I want to take that to a slightly different angle here for just a moment to bring it down to the relation of Cheyenne. The other day we had a power outage which knocked out some of our traffic lights, and it was interesting how most people had the mental wherewithal to stop because they respected the fact that even though the lights were off, there's a rule that says you treat it as a four-way stop, where other people simply went sailing through, and we hope that a like-minded person is not perpendicular on the same wavelength that we are. But what I'm trying to say is that there are rules in society. We can take any set of them, and those rules restrict me. They don't allow me to do what I want to do. I want to sail through the lights. I want to do whatever I want to do. No society exists like that. Church attendance is a good indicator of that. But at the same time, I know people that have no real Christian or Jewish influence, but there's at least core values. You don't go out murdering. You don't, there's a common core value. And if you take away the basis or the foundation for that core value, then I guess it's up to the government to tell us what to think. I really don't know how you take a foundation out from under something and expect it to still stand.
But if we go according to what the forefathers said, who is the government and what are they supposed to be? They are supposed to be citizens of the people, voted on by the people, and they are to serve for the people. However, we've seen that major paradigm shift has gone on in this country concerning that kind of leadership. Now we're finding people like, say, Hillary Clinton, who act like or come off like they are owed that position, like we're the little serfs and she knows better than we do. And it's not just her. I would say that it is representation on both sides of the aisle.
Yeah, I've said for a long time the only difference between professional wrestling and Washington, D.C. is professional wrestling is theater and truly D.C. is sick theater. And, of course, I'm going to bring up a quick bullet point here. I don't want to get too far onto it, but that's why term limits were even recommended at one point to keep people from circulating or to keep people from making a career of this and to circulate people through, to get different ideas and to have more control and not be so disconnected, which is what we have now. We have a disconnected DC that has no bearing on any reality in the real world.
And it almost seems like those have an agenda. We just heard the president say the other day something about the public school system, how the children need to be in public school so that they can be a little bit more conformed to the right way of doing. We can't just have a bunch of free thinkers, independent thinking society, which our forefathers were. Now we need to get in a line with a common ideology that sounds to me like that standard set forward by the government, and we're seeing this incorporated in Common Core.
Yeah, we do see it in Common Core. It's an idea originally. Well, I can't say originally, but the idea comes from watching role models such as Stalin or Hitler, where basically the government will mandate the curriculum being taught. The president and the media, of course, criticizing those who may be in private school or those who are homeschooled. And Obama, within the last couple of weeks, as you stated, had made his speech. And I'm sorry, I don't know exactly when or who he was speaking to, but his concern was that somehow if all kids were not in school, in public school, thinking the same way, that somehow this would be detrimental to our society. And
it depends on how you view a society. We're talking with Rabbi Roger Russo here from Cheyenne. Stay on the line. We'll take a quick break. Get right to your phone call straight ahead. 9:19 is the time. Good morning.
1 in 9 babies will be born prematurely, needing the specialized care of a neonatal ICU. Toby's Shower for Babies knows that new parents appreciate any kindness during this stressful time. That's why they donate baskets to the Level 4 NICU in Denver, the closest destination for preemies in the region. The baskets contain blankets, books, a stuffed animal, onesies, and more. They brighten up the room, as well as mom and dad's spirits. You can help by donating to this caring organization. Visit showerforbabies.org or find them on Facebook.
This is a referral service. Calls will be routed to an independent referral insurance agency. Do you know the number one cause of bankruptcy? No, it's not losing your job or running up credit card debt. It's not even divorce. It's medical costs. If you and your family don't have health insurance, just one serious illness or accident could be financially devastating. But now there's good news, really good news. A health insurance hotline has been established to provide health insurance for all Americans, even uninsured Americans with pre-existing conditions. Now anyone can get health insurance even if you have a pre-existing medical condition. I repeat, now anyone can get health insurance coverage. Call now for a free no-obligation quote on affordable health plans available to you. Again, this is a free hotline for anyone, even if you have pre-existing conditions. Protect you and your family from sudden unexpected medical costs. Call the free health insurance hotline right now at 1-800-838-8963. That's 1-800-838-8963. Call 1-800-838-8963.
Keeping you up to date on your drive home. Join us for Wyoming Tonight, weekdays at 5. The latest national, state, and local news and weather, only on AM 650 KGAB.
All right, 42 is the current temperature. Still have light rain in the area. Please drive carefully. And, if the street lights go out, do the four-way stop thing. Don't just fly through there like you're some kind of superhero, because you're not. All right, my name is Gary Freeman. 9:21 is the time. We are here with Rabbi Roger Rousseau. And as promised, we'll get right to the phones. Good morning. It's your turn.
Hey, good morning, Gary.
Hey.
I kind of like to respond to something that I hear a lot of theologians say. And it is true that great civilizations have fallen by the wayside, accompanied by immorality. But there's something that is never mentioned, or very rarely mentioned. It is that those empires, whether it be the Ottoman Empire, the Persian Empire, the Roman Empire, the Mongolian Empire, they all developed global aspirations, and they tried to spread their frontiers into basically take over the world.
Very true.
Fly lines got too slim, and they could not defend their border regions. That was the beginning of the end. And I just, that's just part of history. But anyway, I got to get back to work. I'll listen to your response on the air.
All right, get back to work so that all of our welfare recipients can get paid. Okay, sir?
Yeah, somebody's got to pay the taxes.
Thanks a lot. He has a point there. Asia was one size, and then when they took, or rather Assyria, and they took over Egypt, they expanded, and then Medo-Persia ended up taking over Egypt, and then you had Babylon taking over Medo-Persia. And so all these empires began to grow until you had this total out of control Roman Empire. And like he said, when the Romans came along, even though they tried to kind of in a certain way tell them you will and will not do this, the empire was so big you just couldn't control the whole thing.
Yeah, and that's in a modern era, it's interesting because we use now, instead of military power to get our point across, we use foreign aid, which with those of us on the conservative side commonly call bribery, to get countries to go along with things that we want.
Right, even though we're an $18 trillion ourselves. Now, speaking of that, as I understand, with the Obama administration, some of the funds that we saw going to Israel are beginning to deplete, but some are saying that's a good thing.
Yeah, actually, I got a lot of friends over there, and we talk quite a bit. And there again, they view it as bribery, and the agenda pushed by DC is not good for Israel. The Israeli people know it, and fortunately, with some newer natural gas finds and so on, exploring going on in that region, little by little, they're trying to get away from foreign aid because they realize that foreign aid is holding them back and not really helping them.
And we're talking too. Earlier, there was that report that came out that like 8% they found or less are being religious now than more than ever. But we're also finding out some institutions across America that have really helped raise up our young men and women to be great citizens, i.e. the Boy Scouts. We just found out this morning, and you can read that out of KGAB.com. Now the Boy Scouts president wants the ban lifted for homosexual leadership in the Boy Scouts. It seems like after years of fighting the good fight, the president of the Boy Scouts of America is ready to bow the knee to homosexuals taking leadership positions in the Scouts. Why is it always that churches and institutions like this have to bow the knee, but the other side doesn't have to.
Well, as I said, you have to get rid of this common idea or this basis of God. In fact, I think you have to look at it from the very beginning of the Bible. It says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And we need to erase that, at least the liberal side does, to get their agenda through. Now, about the Boy Scouts specifically, it's a private group. It's not funded by tax dollars. Therefore, they don't fall under the same, and if people understood constitutional law, they don't fall under the same thing as, say, City Hall, the county, the state, or whatever. Yet we seem to act now private business, private groups, private individuals, private clubs all have to fall under this equality thing, when in all reality, the Constitution doesn't cover that. But it's a made-up idea that's been pumped through the media so much that people begin to believe it.
Right, and Robert Gates, who actually was part of the Clinton administration, I believe, when the whole "don't ask, don't tell, don't pursue" came out, one of his arguments, and I kind of see where he's coming from, even though I may not agree with it, is that they would rather willingly come forth and do this rather than be forced, because we know that the Supreme Court is coming down with a decision. I believe it's next month in June. You have a lot of these special interest groups going on now. The Mormon Church, believe it or not, is a main sponsor of the Boy Scouts, and they oversee over 437,000 different youngsters, at least the report as of 2013. So, you know, if the Mormons start pulling out, people start pulling out, I guess they could say the homosexuals would hijack the Boy Scouts. But then you have Trail Life USA, and they saw this coming in 2013, Rabbi Roger, and they have started their own gig. And I'll tell you what, they are spreading like wildfire across this country, and they're former Eagle Scouts, they're former Scout leaders, Boy Scouts, and what have you.
Yeah, and I'm familiar with the program vaguely. I know you've had them on here before, and it does sound interesting. And I do want to step back to a point here for a moment, and I want to make this point abundantly clear. You have to separate people from the issue, okay? I have, in my past, had some very good bosses at work that would be gay. However, they did their job, and they did it well, and that's what I respect them for. I do not have it out for gay people. However, when it comes to specific parts of this debate, yes, going by the Bible, I do have some differences. The problem is, though, the second I say I have a difference, now I'm accused of hate speech. Now I should be locked up.
Exactly.
You know what? I have my freedom of religion. I have my freedom of speech. I'm not yelling or screaming in their face. But if they want to sit down and have a debate and talk about things in an intelligent way, I'm always willing to do that. But the other thing is simply this. I get some people on both sides, whether straight or gay, that want to be antagonistic. They want to be jerks. And the problem is this. I live and let live. But if you get in my face, especially if my son's around, I don't care if you're gay or straight, I'm going to pop you one. And then right away they want to, well, I'm gay and he hates me because of this. No, if you're a jerk to my face and you start threatening my family or my kids, you're going to get popped. I don't care if you're straight, gay, black, or white. That's just how it is.
All right, Roger Rousseau, we appreciate you being on today and shedding some light on the subject. We got to get rolling here and do another break. But is there any last final words you would like to share with us before you depart?
Well, there's one thing I want to let people know. You know, there was, and I'll make this quick, there was a gentleman that was born in Detroit. And when he was 25, he moved from Detroit to Chicago. And when he was 50, he moved from Chicago to Washington, D.C. When he turned 75, he died and he went to hell, but he didn't notice because the change was so gradual. So in other words, folks, be on the lookout. Don't let things sneak up on you.
All right. Thanks a lot, Roger Rousseau, Rabbi Roger Rousseau. We'll have more to come straight ahead. This is KGAB Mornings. Good morning.
The Sweet Bistro has a new VIP bar that you can book for your own private parties downstairs, where you can have your own exclusive fun. Find out details online at thesweetbistro.com or call and book today. Enjoy the friendly, fun service at the Sweet Bistro.
Don't just stand there. Come get your truck on at Terrell Doyle Chevrolet. Look here. With hundreds of new Chevrolet cars, trucks, and SUVs to choose from, Terrell Doyle has a Chevy for every budget, and you'll love our brand of dealer. We're overstocked and underpriced and looking to sell every new Chevy Silverado in stock before the end of May. We're stacking them deep and selling them cheap. Hurry in and take $10,000 off new Chevy Silverados. No reasonable offer will be turned away. Guaranteed. That's $10,000 off MSRP on any new Chevy Silverados. When it comes to getting your truck on, nobody beats Terrell Doyle Chevrolet. But check it out. We do more than just trucks. Yes, sir. Get a big 15% off MSRP. Cash back on select new 2015 Chevy models, including Cruze, Equinox, Traverse, Impala, Malibu, and more. That's right. 15% off MSRP. Cash back. You'll love love our brand of dealing at Terrell Doyle Chevrolet, just north of Five Prices. Online at TerrellDoyleChevrolet.com. Chevrolet, find your road ultimately.
All right, 9:29 is the time. We're going to open up the phone lines for you when we get back from the bottom of the hour, Fox News. Also, John Gabrielson. It is still pretty slick out there in the capital city. Give us a call, 307-632-6500, 632-3323. Don't take it out on the kids. Don't take it out on the dog. Let's get it off your chest. Give me a call. We'll deal with it. Good morning.
AM 650 KGAB. Up to the minute news.
From the KGAB News Center, I'm Doug Randall. A spokesman for the union that represents Cheyenne firefighters says someone claiming to represent firefighters has been calling Cheyenne residents up and asking for donations or trying to sell advertising. Derek Paulnow says local firefighters always follow a set procedure when they ask for money.
If we make a phone call, we're going to make a phone call to ask for permission to just, stop by the place of business, set up a meeting to speak with certain individuals if we need to. But when it comes to actually discussing what our event is going to be, what our, whatever we're seeking that assistance might be, we're going to show up in person. We'll have identification if someone were to request it.
Paulnow says if someone pressures you for credit card or other financial information over the phone, you can be sure they aren't a Cheyenne firefighter. The price of gas has been increasing, sometimes alarmingly so recently, and Wyoming prices stand at an average of $2.60 a gallon. Industry analyst Patrick DeHaan of GasBuddy.com says the big surprise has been the price of oil.
This is coming as crude oil prices have risen. If we can think back to St. Patrick's Day, the price of crude about $43 a barrel. As of a week and a half ago, it had risen almost $19 a barrel to $62.
But there are rumblings that the increases we've been seeing are starting to fade. More news on demand at KGAB.com.
It's Friday. This here is your WyoPreps Daily Radio Update. I'm John Gabrielson. Great weather would grace state track and field and some soccer regional play-in games yesterday across the state. On the pitch, the 4A boys will have a new state champion coming up. Two-time winner Laramie was eliminated in play-in action. In the West, Green River had to hold off Kelly Walsh after a shootout. Complete soccer scores are at WyoPreps.com. On the state championship oval, 3 new records were set. Lyman's Ann Wingelith is a 4-time state champion in the long jump. She set a new overall state record on her very first jump, going 19.9.
I don't know. I was super excited for my last track meet here, and I just wanted to make the best of it. And so my coach and I have been focusing on just having fun. I've been trying to push myself, trying to get that high 19, and I just relaxed this meet, and it came along with having fun in the track event.
Cody's Brody Smith set a new overall state record, winning the 3A 3,200 meters. Pole vaulter Zariah Tolman of Burlington set a new 1A record, going 11 feet. Also of note is Malia Crouch of Rock Springs, who is a 3-time 4A shot put champion. Check complete results of Day 1 state track and field on WyoPreps.com.
And that's the ball game. The Warriors pick up a good win today, but the game isn't over. Let's see if they all make it home safe. The first player slides into the passenger seat and reaches for the seatbelt. Two other players are roughhousing in the backseat. Mom is already buckled in the driver's seat. She shoots them a stern look in the rearview mirror, and that's all it took. Both players buckled themselves in. Remember, the game is not over until everyone makes it home safe. Buckle up, every passenger, every trip, every time. Paid for with Federal Highway Safety Fund.
Being able to see your favorite dentist is important. And when you buy dental insurance from Delta Dental, you can be reassured that most likely your dentist is one of the 87% of Wyoming dentists participating in our network. Visit our website at www.deltadentalwy.org. That's www.deltadentalwy.org for more information on Delta Dental. And remember to show off your smile, Wyoming.
Pinedale golfer Jordan Costello won the U.S. Open qualifier in Riverton Wednesday. The junior posted a 67 to beat the field and last year's winner, Easton Paxton. Costello now moves on to the regional tournament in hopes of qualifying for the U.S. Open. He's excited to be playing at a higher level.
It's reassuring, honestly, because, in Wyoming, we don't get exposure to that kind of competition, and it's going to be, either way, it's going to be a great experience. I can go out there and I could play two of the worst rounds of my life, and I could still get a ton from it. I know that, and I know it's going to be a good experience either way, and looking forward to traveling over there with my father, and it's going to be fun.
That regional qualifier will be June 8th in Washington. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. Get out and support that home team, whatever they're doing across our great state. This has been your WyoPreps Daily Radio Update. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and as always, for more things high school sports in the state, it's at wyopreps.com.
Rain will overspread Cheyenne again today. After a couple of days where we haven't gotten too much rain, that's going to change. Rain is going to be widespread today, along with a few thunderstorms. They'll continue to be foggy, drizzly, and chilly. We're going to see a very good chance for more showers and thunderstorms, some of which could produce significant rain tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night through Sunday. We might be able to salvage a decent day for Memorial Day Monday. That's one day that might end up being not too bad, but for the next 3 days, we'll be cloudy, cool, and wet.
Do you know a teen who lacks direction, discipline, and the education necessary to succeed? The Wyoming Cowboy Challenge Academy offers 16 to 18-year-olds an opportunity to change their surroundings, gain confidence, while also learning valuable life coping skills and personal leadership. Cadets at the Academy continue their academic studies and have the opportunity to graduate high school or earn an equivalency certificate. To learn more, visit wymcowboychallenge.org or call 307-836-7500. The Wyoming Cowboy Challenge Academy, the courage to change.
And that's the ball game. The Warriors pick up a good win today, but the game isn't over. Let's see if they all make it home safe. The first player slides into the passenger seat and reaches for the seatbelt. Two other players are roughhousing in the backseat. Mom is already buckled in the driver's seat. She shoots them a stern look in the rearview mirror, and that's all it took. Both players buckled themselves in. Remember, the game is not over until everyone makes it home safe. Buckle up, every passenger, every trip, every time. Paid for with Federal Highway Safety Funds.
Rain will overspread the capital city today. Areas of fog and drizzle this morning. Otherwise cloudy with periods of light rain. Brisk and gusty southeast winds. Highs low to mid 50s. There could be a thunderstorm as well. A few lingering showers. Areas of fog low to mid 40s tonight. Saturday, highs near 60 with showers and thunderstorms by afternoon. Showers and thunderstorms likely. Saturday night through Sunday, continued cool. Meteorologist Don Day with more weather on demand at KGAB.com.
Medical professionals. Wyoming Work Wearhouse invites you to check out their vast selection of scrubs. Carrying 8 major labels, including Koi, Wonder Wing, Dickies, and Carhartt in over 50 styles with sizes ranging from extra small to 5X, petite to talls, all in one location. Experience the hub for scrubs. Wyoming Work Wearhouse, your medical workwear supplier right here at home. 3502 Del Range, next to King Soopers, the hub for scrubs.
When it comes to high-speed internet, get it all, sacrifice nothing. And with Skybeam, starting at just $39.95 a month, you can enjoy the fastest internet available right in your own backyard. Plus streaming videos, lightning-fast downloads. Enjoy Netflix, YouTube, Hulu, and HD. And connect with anyone, anywhere with Skype. For the fastest internet available, call 1-888-571-1249 today. And get 1 free month of service or a $50 Amazon gift card. Get it all with Skybeam.
Hi, everyone. We're talking with Frank Gerstenkorn, owner of Guns and Gear, 21st and Evans in Cheyenne. Good news, Frank. Evans and 19th now open. You can drive right to the store.
You can drive right up Evans straight to the store. 19th is still under construction, both sides of Evans. It'll be under heavy construction for quite a while. come off of Lincoln Way and straight north to the store on Evans now.
Coonan, you have a Coonan pistol at the store. People can come by and take a look.
We finally have one in stock that people can look at and hold and fall in love with, because I almost dare you not to hold that thing and not fall in love with it.
It's a 357 on a 1911 platform and really nice pistol. Frank, it is springtime and people want to get outdoors and make the gun go boom, and you've got ammunition for them, right?
We do have. JD, we're still in good shape with regard to 22 long rifle. We have it every day of the week. Haven't run out in 2 months now.
Stop by and see Frank, Randy, and the crew over at Guns and Gear, 21st and Evans in Cheyenne.
Get your news on demand when it's convenient for you at KGAB.com.
All right, 9:40 is the time. Glad to have you with us here on a Friday. And unfortunately, we just found out that the bass player that you're hearing in that bumper music, Lewis Johnson, legendary bassist, has passed away. Brothers Johnson was a big music group of the 1970s. Some of you remember donning the old bell bottoms and hitting the discos. They also made the tune Strawberry Letter 23 from the album Right On in 1977. And, of course, Stomp, which is the song that you just heard now. So R.I.P. Rip Lewis Johnson, legendary bassist with Brothers Johnson. My name is Gary Freeman. This is KGAB Mornings. The webcam is on. Hope you'll join us out there in YouTube land. You can simply go out to KGAB AM 650 and join us there. Also, open line time, 632-6500, 632-3323. And your next opportunity to be able to win some cash will be at 12:36 this morning, as this month AM 650 wants to put $1,000 in your hand twice every weekday during the month of May. All you have to listen to and be caller 25 at 877-5854-WINS. That's WINS. And you could win 1,000 buckaroos. Against that's going to be at 12:36 this morning. 632-6500, 632-3323. It may take at least a couple of years and perhaps as many as 5 to replace all the Takata airbags and the record number of cars being recalled. We talked about that earlier this week. Part of the problem, as we understand it, is that it will take a long time to make all the replacement airbags for the 34 million U.S. cars that have been affected by this recall. They're going to try to find all the owners, and then they got to get them to bring the cars in. That's going to be another challenge. They're going to probably have to work with dealerships or people that are in their database. It's going to be hard for dealers to repair so many vehicles. So that's a lot. 34 million U.S. cars were affected by this faulty airbag recall. And especially because Takata, I think it was a year or two ago, was saying, no, we don't have any problems at all. Well, now they're finding out that they did. And, of course, whenever you have a recall like that and you have like 34 million automobiles, obviously this brings about a lot of complexities, means that it could take about 5 years for them to complete the whole project. So probably the thing to do is to be in contact with your manufacturer and your dealer and find out if your car was affected by it and try to be one of the first ones to do that. So that will be something as well. And also, as we were talking about earlier in the program today, the Boy Scouts president wants the ban lifted for homosexual leadership in the Boy Scouts. He says it's inevitable with the court cases and the Supreme Court coming down on it. How will this affect Boy Scout troops here in the capital city? Let's take a call. Good morning. It's your turn. Hello. Yeah, good morning.
Yeah. I was calling about the Laramie County groundwater, the Eastern Control District, or whatever they call it.
Okay.
And I haven't been able to make any of their meetings that they had. But it seems to me like everybody is missing the whole problem. that we have here with our groundwater.
What is it in your observation?
Well, the problem is that we don't have enough water.
Right.
And nobody seems to be addressing that. So the answer is not to cause hardships on everybody involved. The answer is to get more water.
So what would be one solution if you could pose it on what it would be? Because we've been talking about this for a long time, haven't we?
Well, we go down to Omaha and put.
Are you there? I think we lost you. Give us a try back at 632-6500, 632-3323. Yeah, we've been talking about this for a long time. I know a lot of you have. I have, privately, whatever. As more and more we continue to build businesses in this area, and we get bigger and bigger and bigger population, and now we're finding that this aquifer is depleted more so in the Albany, or in the over in the Burns area, in that part of Laramie County, Albany, where a lot of agriculture is going on. We are finding that that's where a lot of the depletion of the aquifer is. But I'm telling you, it may even come back this way. The more and more business and the more attractive we make it for people to live here, I don't know what the population in the Laramie County area would be to be able to sustain, but there's got to be a cap on the number somehow, I would think. Let's take another call. Good morning. It's your turn.
Want this me again?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I was the one that called earlier and you lost me.
Okay, go ahead.
What the answer is to get more water. All we have to do is go, say, to Omaha or somewhere, put in a pump and a pipeline and pipe water up here from the Missouri River.
That's great, but will they comply with that? Are other states going to comply with that? We had that idea on the program here not too long ago, which I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but you got to get these other states to be able to comply, and if they decide they don't want to do that, then what do you do?
You could do this, bring a pipeline up I-70 from, say, Kansas City to Denver.
Sure.
Denver needs water. Denver has water from the Mississippi or the Missouri River. They could sell their Colorado River rights to California or Nevada or somewhere to help pay for it.
Yeah, but will they do that?
And if California could get more water from the Colorado River, I think it'd make them happy. I think their congressmen and senators would probably go along with that. You could get Congress, Colorado and Wyoming and, other states that are involved, Arizona, Nevada, that need water, and pass a legislation, a federal loan, and get a couple pipelines built and pump the water here.
Well, and I agree, but let's say this. Let's say that I'm in Missouri and I don't like what California's doing by allowing all these illegals to come into the United States. And I say, no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to comply with that. Then what do you do?
What does that have to do with the water?
Well, what I'm saying is more and more people are using more and more of our resources. It has a lot to do with it, I think. At what point do you stop building here in Cheyenne? At what point do you cap off and say we're maxed out? You can't get it. You can't.
That's the problem. But
right. Yep. And I hear you, and I appreciate the call. Got a little buzz in there, but that's the whole thing. You can't make other states comply with their water rights. If they don't want to sell them, they're not going to sell them. I mean, nobody can guarantee that it's going to rain. Now, it's raining here now. According to Don Day, we're looking pretty good for the month of May. Wonderful. But then what about next year? And even our own state government operates that way. Financially, well, we can't do this and we can't do that because oil prices are down and we're not projecting this revenue coming in and we're not getting enough federal dollars. So they begin to put the halt on spending and or these special programs. The Medicare expansion is just one example. Well, when it comes to water, it is a resource. At what point do you cap off and say enough's enough? Because you can't force these other states to sell their water rights. And especially these other states are looking at California and they're seeing what the federal government's doing, and they may not want to participate in that. It's not that they don't care about their fellow man. It's just they know that as long as you continue to allow people into this state illegally and continue to come into the country and on and on and on ad nauseum, 100,000 illegal aliens or whatever it is, they're like, hey, we need to take care of our own before we start trying to take care of everybody else. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. Good morning. It's your turn.
Good morning. A lot of these guys talking about this piping water from the Great Lakes or the Mississippi or the Missouri.
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever been out there and realized what's going on. You've got well over 100 million people on the American and Canadian side that use that for drinking water. They use it for transportation, the lakes, the rivers with the barges. They use it for water for the people, for agriculture. And to think that those hundreds of millions of people are going to volunteer or agree to give us water so we can have green lawns to Cheyenne.
Right.
I wish these people could get out there, ride along these rivers and lakes and see what's going on, because they have no idea what they're talking about.
Very good point. And I've lived in Missouri, and I'll tell you what, you talk about humidity. I lived right near the Merrimack River, the Missouri River, and the Mississippi River. But as the caller just said, as you drive across those states, they have got soybean farms up the yin-yang, corn farms, not to talk about even Nebraska. I mean, Kansas as well as Missouri. So, you bring up a good point. I'm not trying to down the fact that water could not be piped in, but I just don't think these states are going to be willing to deplete their resources to help fund California's problem. California needs to fix their own problem. And it wasn't necessarily like that 45 years ago. Actually, the economy in California was doing quite well. But when you allow certain ideologies to go on and people continue to get reelected out there and on, and some of their ideologies don't bar with good business practices, then you have the mess that you have. And that is a really small nutshell. I really don't want to expand it. Of course, again, if you want to give us a call this morning, you can, 632-6500, 632-3323. My name is Gary Freeman. This is KGAB Mornings. Good morning.
Every hiring manager knows that a company is only as good as the people it's made from. So where do you find the best people? That may surprise you.
Meet the grads of life. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
This is talent worth knowing about.
Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
And good morning. Let's go back to the phones. Good morning. It's your turn. Hello.
Yes, is that me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good morning.
Hi.
How are you today?
Not too bad.
Good. Well, I kind of turned in late to the program, but I just wanted to bring up a couple of facts. Your last caller was very correct that the caller before maybe needs to become a little more informed about what is happening with water, and especially in the states of Nebraska and Kansas, and how all of the water from Colorado is going to Kansas. And all of the water in Nebraska is going to Kansas. And we, being as close as we are to the Continental Divide, water flows downhill, and we're kind of at the top. So everything on the west side goes to California. But also with that, people need to realize, for instance, maybe states wanting to sell water or thinking that they would. Colorado, now with legalized marijuana, it takes 10 times the amount of water to grow marijuana that it does corn. And so this has become a huge factor. And in Pueblo County alone, last month's revenue from marijuana sales, legalized pot, was $1.8 million.
Wow.
For 1 month. And
now you
correctly.
got guys like Willie Nelson that's wanting to grow some of the best pot in the land out in Colorado. And I think the more that you have a state like Colorado, I'm not going to talk about Washington State because that's not the issue here, and you have more and more of these people wanting to grow there, it's going to require more and more water.
That's correct.
Good point.
And then I guess my other point I'd like to make this morning is people in America are going to have to decide. We thought we were all being held captive, with oil embargoes and with the energy and the oil embargoes and all, but believe me, if America cannot feed herself, we are at the hands of our enemy, so to speak. And so I think we need to remember that as far as for agricultural use of water.
I think you have a great point there. Thank you for the phone call.
Thank you.
All right, very good. Yep, great point. I mean, how long have we been saying drill here, drill now? How long have we been said America's got the resources? We've got We've got enough oil in Idaho to be able to supply us for X amount of years. We have to get to the place to where America becomes more independent. You got to be something before you can do something. And to continue to fund these other countries and rely on these other countries that hate our guts. I don't care what John Kerry says. A lot of these countries, they hate America. They like our money that we don't really have, and they like the opportunity. But as far as our ideologies and how we were founded, I mean, for that fact, we got people in government that don't even like the ideologies of how the country was founded. And she's right. America's going to have to make up their mind what they want to do. And again, you have to be something before you can do something. And if you don't have the resources and the wherewithal, you shouldn't be funding other countries if you don't have it yourself. Back to the phones. Good morning. It's your turn.
Yes, sir. I just wanted to mention, as far as piping water from various points, it amazes me California is suffering a drought. Why in the hell don't they do like San Diego, appropriate money, build desaltation plants all along the coast and pipe that water inland? Also, I wanted
because
to change
they don't
the subject.
they don't have any money. That's one problem. But anyway,
Well, they've got funding money, paper money, just like we're using out of D.C. on the printing presses.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I just wanted to change the subject for a moment, bring it back to the local region here.
You bet.
The landfill has sort of taken a side issue, in my opinion, and that's been a major point of contention, but nobody really wants to face up to it. The Public Works Director is saying it's going to cost $16 million or $13 million. I can't remember the numbers exactly, but to open the new expanded area and close the old landfill. Now, what I am having a hard time understanding, like I said, I used to go to the meetings, town hall meetings, when Mayor Schaefer used to hold the meetings, and Dennis Peña's father.
I need you to wrap up here because I got to get to a break.
Okay. I just wanted to mention there were 3, maybe 8 people at the most at the city council meeting on the landfill, and that tells me people are not concerned about rate increases and so on, because at that meeting they also increased the water rates.
Thank you for the phone call.
I hope people have plenty of money.
All right. I don't think it's that it's not concerned. They're just tired of city council and their voices falling on deaf ears. Anyway, thanks for the phone call. We'll take a break and we'll wrap it up here in just a moment.
Black Dog Animal Rescue and the Cheyenne Animal Shelter invite you and your dogs to join us Saturday, June 13th for the annual Dog Jog and Summer Mutt Fair at Lions Park. Sponsored by Cowboy Dodge, Team Jackson, the Petco Foundation, Sam's Club, the Carlton family, and Number One Properties. Stop by to meet adoptable animals, learn about low-cost microchips, visit vendors, and more. It's a day full of fun at Lions Park on June 13th, kicking off near the amphitheater at 8 a.m. For more information, visit dogjogmuttfair.org.
Here at Mountain View Regional Hospital, we know that joint and sports injuries are painful. With over 100 years of combined experience, our team of board-certified orthopedic surgeons is here to get you better, faster, offering convenient access to the latest in surgical and non-invasive care with clinics in Cheyenne. Call 877-266-4700 or online at mvrhospital.com. Mountain View Regional Hospital. We find answers.
The Sweet Bistro has a new VIP bar that you can book for your own private parties downstairs, where you can have your own exclusive fun. Find out details online at thesweetbistro.com or call and book today. Enjoy the friendly, fun service at the Sweet Bistro.
The sounds of Memorial Day weekend. But of all the sounds you'll hear, remember to take a moment to honor this one with silence. For without it, none of those other wonderful sounds would be possible.
Call Underwood Flowers and Gifts to order fresh or silk flowers of remembrance to honor your fallen veterans this Memorial Day. Underwood Flowers and Gifts, 638-3341.
I hate to lose money, so the thought of wasting energy around my home just doesn't sit well with me. I do what I can to keep my energy costs down, but I'm always looking for new ideas.
Here's an idea for you, Ed. At Cheyenne Light Fuel and Power, we offer home energy audits for customers who want to be more energy efficient. So visit us online at CheyenneLight.com and we'll help you keep that money in your pocket. Cheyenne Light Fuel and Power. Life sponsored by Energy.
All right, that's going to do it. Have a wonderful, safe weekend. Don't forget to head out to Bethel Cemetery for the Memorial Day. We'll see you Tuesday. Good morning.
KGAB Orchard Valley, Cheyenne. A Wild Preps radio station, AM 650, KGAB, and KGAB.com.